we want to do it today.
This is live.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Welcome to our rinconcito de idiomas. We're not going to speak any Spanish. Don't worry.
Okay. Because we don't understand it.
Can you just introduce yourselves quickly?
I'm Raquel. Do I need to say where I'm from? From New York.
Okay. Okay.
I'm Mel from Jamaica.
Okay.
Been living here for a very long time, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome, both of you. And obviously today is, let's see, who knows what's today? Today's a special day. I think this is worldwide. What's today? What's special about today?
International Women's Day?
Yeah.
Indeed. Do you celebrate it in America today as well?
Yes, they do. It's a big deal on iHeartRadio, and it's a big deal today. They have colors and everything for it too.
Okay, brilliant. So what did you get, Raquel, or what did you, in fact, what did you get me? I've invited you to my ring. What did you get me to celebrate Women's Day?
Spring water.
Okay. Brilliant. No, but brilliant. Thank you for being here. So today I just really wanted to discuss, because I feel as though today being such an important day as well, it's reason, it's the perfect occasion to talk about all these issues that I think have been going on, and that's so relevant for today. And obviously, as the title is said, I explained it, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the controversy that's going on with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They're over your part of the world now, and what's been going on over there? Has there been a lot of noise in regard to the interview that they did yesterday with Oprah?
Yes, it's all over social media. Obviously, it's in all the news channels. I'm sure. What else? Social media, news channels.
Chat groups.
Everyone has something to say, an opinion. Not all are positive. A lot of negatives as well.
Yeah.
And it didn't come out for you guys. I think what time is it there now? It's probably I think it's coming out today in the
UK.
UK.
I think in the UK. Yeah, in the UK, I think it was coming on, or it came on this evening. I'm not sure, because I'm in Spain, so we don't get anything good. Nothing good no come over here. Nothing.
Football.
Yes, exactly. So obviously I have to wait until it's been shown there, so I can obviously see the rerun or whatever. But did you guys see it?
I didn't get to see it. I was unfortunately watching basketball. My fault. But my friends have seen it. They're all weighing in on it, and it's interesting to see the commentary. That's just
Absolutely.
I saw it.
Okay, so weigh in.
I saw it. I never thought I'd sympathize or empathize with them, but I do, because you mean you're rich. What the hell are you complaining about? But but there's way more to it than, like, at the end of the day, you're still a human. You still have feelings, and your feelings are hurt just like everyone else, and you want the same things, respect and love and support as everyone else. And it seems that they had the money, but they were lacking support and everything else.
Absolutely. And I mean, that goes back to it. It's, just even a week ago, her sister-in-law, Kate Middleton, was saying something about the fact that she was struggling with homeschooling. And a whole bunch of people were saying, oh yeah, what's she complaining about? You know, she has money. And I think a lot of people equate money to
happiness.
You know, yes, and that you shouldn't complain if you have money. What are you complaining for? you know, and it's that sentiment that I think we don't know how to empathize. We don't know how to show empathy for other people, because we have this notion that if you have money, well, you're all right, and you know, you should just shut up and get on with it because there's nothing else. And that's obviously, I think there's a problem in that sort of thinking, you know, because I think we all know that money does not always equate to happiness.
It doesn't. But you see, for most people, they're going to assume if you can afford the resources to get you to where you need to be, you shouldn't be complaining. It's kind of like a first world problem. Oh, my Jag is down, so I'll drive the Benz today. That kind of situation. So if you have the resources to get help and you're struggling with homeschooling, because I guarantee 90% of these people who complain about homeschooling have people who homeschool. So they don't really do it. So there's that perception. It may be true, it may not be true, but it's there. And they really can't work around it because most people outsource their childcare to other people.
Yeah. But as well, I think is that nowadays, as is that perception that woman has that, you know, even if you can afford to have somebody in, is that you wanting to do it for yourself because you want to be a hands-on mom. You know, and I'm sure Raquel feels the same. You know, no one can do it better than you, but it's your kids. You know, it's not the same. And even though it's a struggle, and you might have bags under your eyes. You know?
It's still, it does feel, it becomes overwhelming sometimes, but then it's rewarding at some point.
Absolutely.
Then it goes literally like this. Like, it's not always rewarding. It's not always overwhelming. Some days you have it under control, and some days you're screaming for help.
Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that if you had €1 million or $1 million that it would be any less. I don't feel as though it's the case. You know, we all suffer the same way. But going off topic completely, right? So I don't know if you get this show over there. It's called This Morning. It's actually a British show. No, This Morning? Okay. I was watching that this morning, and I think her name is Camilla Tomini or something like that. She's a royal editor. Whenever this woman comes on, I'm always like, okay, here we go. Because you know that her side is obviously the royal side, you know. And what she was saying was sort of, like, you know, why is Meghan complaining so much? It's not as though she's the first person who has been criticized or who has been dragged by the media. So what's she moaning about? What do you feel about? Because obviously, I think there's everything wrong with this concept of, you know, why are you moaning? You're not the first person. What do you think? What do you think about that comment that she made?
Well, first of all, it's I got my mind just went blank just now. What was the question again? I really had it and then I lost it.
Why is she complaining?
Why is she complaining? Because she's not being treated fairly. Yeah. She clearly doesn't have the same perks as the rest of the family, the royal family have. Based on what I saw last night, she doesn't have security, protection. Apparently, you know, money was taken. They don't have the same. The money stopped there. Their
support
system, both financially and, you know, security wise, we're taken away from them. So she's complaining about that. And if you don't have support, mentally that's going to mess with you. I mean, you can only be strong for so long. Again, at the end of the day, you have emotions, you have feelings, and if those are not validated, but just being taken care of.
Yeah, or recognized even.
Recognized. You're going to fall apart because, I mean, how strong do you want me to be? I mean, who am I proving to that I'm strong? I'm in a family. This is my family, right? I should be able to come to you guys for equal support, just like the rest of the family members. I shouldn't have to fight for it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Take the race out of it. It's support.
Yeah.
I mean, race has something to do with it, but at the end of the day, I married your grandson, I married your brother, I married your son. So we're family, right? We're not perfect. We're one big royal family. So I think we should all get the same perks. Not, oh, you get this, but not so much.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, the idea with mental issue, because she touched that. I didn't see the whole thing. I was seeing clips, and you know, I saw a bit about the fact that she didn't want to live anymore. She was suicidal. That is massive. What do you think?
Your mental stuff like that messes with your mental, and again, is nothing without being suck it up to be strong. Because we're family, so the expectation of family is being there.
Absolutely.
And especially now that I need you guys, I mean, the world is attacking me, and now you guys are not protecting me. So in essence, you're attacking me too, but not really, but you are.
Absolutely.
Because you're not defending me. You're not coming to my honor and saying anything about it. But everyone else gets that. Like the clip that I sent you earlier. So she basically, she covered up her, was it Andrew? Her son being a rapist with Harvey Weinstein. Is it Weinstein? But alleged rapist. But you're not gonna protect your grandson and your great grandson and his wife. Yeah. Like where does your priorities lie as a grandmother or as a family?
But is it? I mean, she refers to the whole institution as a firm, yes. And so in a firm, we all know that, or in a company or whatever it might be, we know that perhaps we don't have the freedom to act perhaps as individuals. We think that perhaps that's where the issue lies, that it cannot be from a personal perspective. We cannot treat you the way a grandmother would perhaps, because it's not just me. If you think about the way the royal family is, it belongs to the public, isn't it? It's I act and do as is expected. And so to say they're behaving within what's expected in society, they're playing a role, if you like. So they're not showing her favoritism because that's the way you do it. You suck it up and you get on with it.
I can't say in recent memory I've seen anyone undergo that much scrutiny, though, from the royal family. I've seen a lot of people come and go, but I can't say that with any certainty. I may be wrong, but I can't say with any certainty that there's been any one individual that has gone what she's gone through. So
even Camilla being the jump off, a home wrecker. She's like, you know, how she's in and she's loved. I mean, from what you see, and I mean, I guess she wanted it so bad that she put up with anything. But Meghan is not a home wrecker. She married the person. She didn't wait for the wife to die to become a wife.
Yeah,
like she earned her place. He courted her. He met her. He liked her. He put a ring on her.
Absolutely. But could it be
a little different? She's a little different. And, you know, this one of these things is not like the other thing from Sesame Street. That is her. She's a different one. So they're going to treat her differently. And the optics are bad, but the facts are there.
So how comes the jump off gets
because
security?
She's different. She's different. That's why, you know. One is not like the other. Meghan is not like the rest.
So what do you think it's a combination of the fact that she's American, so she's not British. One, she's alien. She's not a part of the clique. Is it to do with social class then? Because obviously she's.
I think you have a point there, but here's the thing.
Or is it just race?
They're all about deportment and the history behind your situation, if you will. So she's American, so they all think Americans are crass and uncouth and without deportment. So you can't represent royalty if you're not from the line of royals, and she was not from the line of royals. You know what I mean? So you're the outsider that has come in, and you're different.
Yes.
Added to the fact that you're different.
Yeah.
You are different and also different, and from that place that we had to run from. It's a lot of history back there, you know. So, I mean, she's going to have a rough time, but she's resourceful. I'm sure she'll land on her feet.
Yeah. You know, but what I'm so surprised about is the amount of people that are always making excuses. You know, I always, or if you go on social media, I mean, you will see it. oh, black people are always pulling the race card. You know, it's not all about race. And the evidence is there. We've seen that. We've seen it in the newspaper.
People who talk about it's not about race have not experienced anything that has to do with race. It's always people on the outside looking and say, oh, it's not about that. But they've never experienced it, you know, and somebody's hungry, you can, just drink some water. You don't know it.
Exactly.
You can't speak to someone's experience if you have not had this experience yourself. So it's weird when people say, you don't know. And social media gives everybody such anonymity. They can say whatever the hell they want and feel protected by it. So people just talk a lot of garbage because I don't know you said it, but confront them about it and they'll change. But I know.
Yeah, it is. Sorry?
People are weird.
It's not weird. I think it's because certain things are accepted, and then that mixed up with freedom of speech. Sometimes, you know, because I was reading on Twitter, just last week about an English footballer who had gone to Twitter and said, you know, all these racist comments about me, you know, and it shouldn't be allowed. And basically, they're saying that people are allowed to express their opinions freely. Obviously, they're not going to put their names in. So that gives people the power to say, you know, I can say whatever I want because I won't be held accountable for whatever. So I can go out and I can say whatever I want and there's no consequence.
You know, there's always a caveat to this freedom of speech thing. You can say whatever you want, but take responsibility for what you say and understand that me being able to say whatever I want to say doesn't make it acceptable. There are repercussions for that. That's why you don't yell hijack on an airplane or fire in a crowded theater.
Absolutely.
You know, it's free speech. I can say whatever I want, but you can't do that. You know, so everyone it's freedom of speech. Yeah, but if you say something stupid, there's a cost for that.
Yeah, you're gonna be called out for it, and you know, it's my freedom of speech to check you.
Of course. So who's wrong?
Exactly. You know, and what worries me a lot as well is that people seem to have are still confused or still questioning when racism's taken place. You know, people are saying, I don't know if you know this guy, Piers Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I am so sick of this guy because I feel as though he's like a hurt teenage girl who was lost his best friend, because he goes on about how he knew Meghan, and how she changed and she's a social, you know, she's climbing the ladders or whatever, and she's okay. Yes, you knew her. So what? Then she didn't want to be your friend anymore, and so you're dedicating your whole life to just, you know, exactly. Get a life, little teenage girl. You know, when I hear him talking, I lose all, because I do. All I see is a teenage girl at school just because he got his feelings hurt, and you know, so he's going to spend the rest of his life now just trashing her. You know, and it's sort of like, okay. And lots of times friends, and he talks about, what's that got to do with race? You know, they'll bring on a black person to talk about what's going on, and it's almost as if they're grilling. I was watching Jamelia this morning, and they were saying, but what's racism? How is she suffering racism? So they
almost like they want you to explain it to them, and then they tell you, oh no, that's not racism. So you asked me for a definition, but you're not happy with the definition that I gave you. Like, no, it's not like that. So it's like gaslighting into telling me what I'm feeling, but then you're like, no, that's not what you're feeling at all.
Especially now, people feel they can say whatever. This First Amendment nonsense again. For example, I work at a hospital in Midtown Manhattan, and at least once a week somebody calls me nigger. This is 2020. Yeah. At least once a week.
2021.
Well, not 2021. It hasn't happened this year yet.
Oh, okay.
But during the course of 2020, and this is even during COVID, at least once a week, there's some white person who refers to me as nigger. Now, deportment requires that I just ignore them and keep it moving. But you know, the Jamaican me would probably wait for them with a Heineken bottle. But you have to behave accordingly. So I ignore it. It's become something that I'm used to. You know,
Yeah.
so people who talk about racism doesn't exist because they don't think you walking around with a hooded.
Okay. Your volume, I can't hear you. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm saying if you're not walking around with a cross, burning crosses on people's lawn or having rallies in the street, if it's not overt, they don't think it's racist. And it's the covert racism that we have to believe in. Will Smith said racism isn't gone, it's just being filmed now.
Yeah.
So
that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
racism is never gone. It's just being filmed. So everything we see happening now was always happening. It's just now we can catch it on social media and all that stuff. So for Piers Morgan to say something like that, that's coming from a place of privilege.
Absolutely.
That's all that is. That's my whiteness coming into play because I've never had to experience that. So that doesn't exist. So if it doesn't happen to me, it's kind of like when crack was a big deal and black people were dying. Oh, it's not a problem. But opioids, we have to have Senate hearings because now it's affecting us. So it's always about us versus them. And he's speaking from a place of privilege. So there's not much meat to his argument.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, you know, they always talk about today being National Women's Day. You know, we're always talking about women are emotional. But I feel Piers Morgan is one of the most emotional beings that there is. I still think he's hurt. He's hurt that Meghan doesn't want to be his friend anymore.
His estrogen level is a bit elevated.
It's quite possible, you know, sour grapes kind of situation. It's possible.
Yes, you know, when it's I feel as though when things happen to you, you know, we saw that she was in a state of a very delicate state that they had to walk away, and a lot of times people don't want to see you get up and stand up for your rights because it's like, okay, you're not going with the flow. You know, if the flow is not working for you, why should
you have a right to leave or stay?
Absolutely.
And then you can't criticize me and say, "Oh, suck it up." I mean, how much of this did you expect me to endure? Like, what am I trying to prove? And she'd be right. She was in a very delicate state, having a baby. Who knows? She probably had postpartum. What's going on around her? There's several factors, and
it comes back to the same argument of deportment among the royals. So you're supposed to suck it up and behave
because now you're among us.
Yeah. So you've never heard much about that kind of backlash in amongst the royals. So
Diana tried it.
Yeah, and you see what happened to her. So when you have dissent among the ranks, there's always going to be that pushback. And she was probably one of the people who said, "Yo, I'm gonna like that," and "No, you're supposed to like it." "No, I'm gonna like it." "Oh, you're supposed to." And that back and forth is always going to create friction. So she did not deport herself, and they separated themselves. I mean, the optics aren't good, but the facts are there.
They have nice pictures. Like all the pictures that they take, I could never tell something's wrong. They had really nice pictures.
Yeah, they have a photographer, that's right. And the publicist. They have a framework in place. That's the firm. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you learn to play the part, don't you? You learn to smile when you're supposed to smile. You know, there was a part in the interview where she said when she had to go to the this dude, Prince, I can't remember.
I remember.
And just that she had to suck it up and start smiling because the lights are on now, you know, and the focus on it's a performance.
She's playing a role. That's what it is.
Absolutely. So how long can you really play a role that's killing you, really? Because
that's not who you are. If you're not a conniving wannabe person, it's not going to work. But if you're just about I'm part of the royal now, and that's who you are, it'll be super easy for you to do. But if that at the core, that's not who you are, it's going to eat at you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But a strong woman, I think, I look at her, I don't know her personally, you know, but I see a strong woman from, you know, before she was in the royal, all the things that I've seen, the way she's conducted herself, I've always seen class, you know, I've always seen elegance. I've always seen quite a noble person. Okay, we portray what we want the world to see. That is also true. But I can't see anything that would make, that could possibly generate so much hate and disgust and reject towards her.
there's a I'm sorry to do that, but there's a lot of people who don't like to see people do well.
True.
That's really what it is. I never knew Meghan Markle before I saw her on Suits, and I watched Suits religiously. And she was one of the cast members of Suits. She used to date a white guy in the show. Not relevant, but that's where I saw her. I didn't know her before. When she left the cast, I was like, oh, she's dating Prince Harry. Good for her. And that's when you heard all the stuff about her father is a drug addict, her mother killed herself, her sister T from court. So it just became a bit, she just got courts, take out furniture and don't pay for it. It was a ridiculous thing. So she would just be your story and this, and then Wendy Williams, she's a social climber. And that's the first time I heard that story. I was like, yo, listen, the girl, and she played a woman on the show and she did a good job. So if she meets somebody where she's like, what the hell do you care?
I thought we were supposed to be happy for each other.
No. Exactly. No, we don't know to do that. We don't know to do that. You see, and sometimes a woman I do it too, a woman I do it too. I like Wendy Williams, I do, because I think she's a hard worker, she's done a lot, and she's in a position now where, I mean, I've the last few months I've started to like her more, but I do get upset when she says negative things about people who I feel as they've done no harm. And when you're talking negatively about someone, it's like we like to see people fail, and it's almost like,
people they can't talk about good things because good things are not salacious, and you have to have something stupid to talk about. So if you decide, I get a good job, Lord, nobody's going to talk about the fact that you have a good job. Get fired.
Yes.
She get fired and get the third job this last week, and it becomes
you can't hold on a job. What you see?
Like that. Because the positive things, it's on. She at work. If you're not at work, that's when the snowball of stories come after.
Absolutely.
Them she can't take it and she'll lose her job.
And it's bad. And it's
ridiculous.
It's a pedestal that we're expected to rise to. Lots of times I just try to her, okay. That over. I want to put them over, Lord God.
Hello. Hello, baby. Hello.
them can't find one better time for over.
Silencer. I take it, don't blame nothing.
Use the greater.
No, I'm live.
Use the greater.
You see, Jamaican people, when they see camera, they always have to make that small.
I'm just bad, man.
If it was Granny should have come with that, I was like, that. At least you don't have that. You can't come and do it.
I would
Okay, so it's funny because in the mornings I'm working at the university. I probably haven't told you this, and so last week we were talking about the importance as well of just being good to each other. Going up to someone or somebody who giving them a compliment. Just being good to each other, and I think we've lost that element in life, which is quite sad. We
take things for granted a lot. That's what it is.
Sorry?
We take things for granted a lot.
Things and people.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
yes.
We do take most things for granted, and we just assume that this is always going to be this, so I don't have to worry about it. And interestingly, when I was working I wouldn't even call it working, I was just watching people die during COVID. And I realized something that time. It was just, all you have is right now, really. Tomorrow is hopeful. You have today, and tomorrow you'll have today.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is maybe. And a serious thing. And I was watching this lady. She was on in years old, but she was dying. COVID, have her tubes up and things. She was just there panicking because you can't have visitors, people can't visit and stuff like that. So she was just there by herself looking stressed out. And when you watch that kind of thing and you leave, you realize, tomorrow might not really reach me, So it was recently I had this vibe, and I called my brethren in Jamaica. I have a very good friend in Jamaica. I'm saying, Mikey, love you, my brother. I know why you feel something forget say I'm a virgin, you know, but I love you, my brother. And I've called a lot of people and I've done that because I'm not hoping to die, but people need to know where they stand in your life and the acceptance of, oh, I know already, man. It doesn't really work because they may know, they may not, but if you tell them, it's guaranteed that they know.
That's true.
So
that's true.
We take it for granted that, yeah, man, she know me like her, man. Yeah, man.
Well, time.
Yeah.
People think they have time.
That's true.
Time
and you know, and tomorrow is not it's not guaranteed. It's just not. You know, and you might call me a soppy kind of person because I do share my emotions quite, especially with my family. You know, I am, because I do believe that, you know, you have to let them know now. You know, wait till them sit down, then you bought your ball. You know, it's true. What's the point otherwise? It's just, it doesn't, and we need more of that, I think, and just being kinder to each other. And I think the key is that we are spiteful and we're mean to each other. We don't have any empathy for our neighbor.
No.
You know, we're really suffering. And it's like you're relishing that.
Especially now with social media being the draw that it is, people don't do things just for the sake of doing things anymore. You know, if I'm not even for the likes. If I'm going to help someone, you have to make sure that the camera crew is there. Make sure your cell phone on autofocus and have your tripod ready so that I can see when you give this man a sandwich.
Either.
You know, and they'll talk.
I just met a homeless person.
And they'll come and do what is called humble bragging. Say, yo, I just had to give back, and on the camera.
Yes.
You know? So the good stuff is when people don't see it, but
absolutely
people don't do things like that. It's more about, I have to let you see what I'm doing. It's just
you have to share.
So there's no genuineness in caring. People care because they might know that I care about this person, so let me do it.
Yeah, and it's for the likes, isn't it? We are driven for likes,
for the attention. So the attention. So my caring for you has nothing to do with you. It has from me getting their approval.
Oh my God, he cares for her.
Yeah, he likes people.
He likes people.
Click like. And it checks it and say, oh, 74 people like it. So
74 people like that you like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is sad that we are here. You know, and it's I don't know what I would add. What am I hearing myself twice?
I don't know, somebody to call me while I got to
okay. No, touch up with something.
Like, you know that I stalk the kids, right? And at first they didn't get it, but I've normalized stalking in my household.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were like, why are you always taking so much pictures of us? I was like, dude, you're growing up in front of my eyes, and I never want to forget the day that you did this or this. And then I even send them pictures sometime when I'm going through my phone, and they like it. I say, see, that's why I stalk you. It's normal.
Yeah. It's your job. It's your job. You absolutely must do it. You know,
my children didn't get along, even though they were 6 and 7 years apart. They're very close. They're very loving. They fight just like, actually, they barely fight. For the most part, they love each other. Yesterday, I woke up, Justin came in my bedroom, then Carly came in there, and then and we started watching the movie at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's nice. And hopefully, those things that you've instilled in them, hopefully, they'll take that out into the real world. You know, and
that's what I tell them.
Yeah, there's no love no more. That just sounded such bad grammar. There's no love no more. There is no love no more. There's not.
I get you. It's accurate though. So grammar aside, it is 100% accurate.
It is, and you know, I think the tabloids, unfortunately, we've learned to live with, you know, what they say, and it's us because we consume. There's such consumption, great consumption of what they're selling us, because they sell. You know, they put all these things that might be hurtful to people, and they sell. So that's why they keep doing it. And so maybe there's something in us as well, because we want to see it, don't we? We want to see people fail. You want to see how they're going to fall, how far they're going to fall, what's going to happen, you know, and then it does this, you know, what we're talking about it, you know, and we are perpetuating that, you know, that because it's a sick world. It is a sick world because look what we're doing. You know, we are feeding. We're talking about it because it's relevant, but again, we are feeding into it, and
but it affects.
helpful.
It's helpful. It's, I guess, so for some people it could be some sort of therapy and inspiration, and it gives some people voice. Some people might not. I'm not talking about the negative. I'm talking about when something's happened, it gives the opportunity for us to speak on it. Because sometimes the platform does not. We just hear about it. But when we can speak up on it, I think we should, like, publicly.
The only issue is that most times that conversation is about opinions and not necessarily having a conversation about things. It's like my opinion, your opinion. 75 out of 100 people with their opinion. So you have this amalgam of opinions, and not one person is saying things that, you know what, because this is so, then this is so. So it's just this big, but it's just noise at some point.
It is. It is. Do you think what Harry and Meghan's going through, do you think it'll blow over in a few weeks and they'll find somebody else to then talk about and attack and hate on?
Absolutely. Yeah? News is like that. Everything is cyclical, and this will be the topic for now until something else replaces it.
Yeah, but they'll still hold the place until. So here it is that they might say something bad about another royal, another person. That goes away. But they're still left with the last bad taste in your mouth. So I mean, they stop talking about them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not still unreeling from.
It doesn't mitigate their pain. Just that they won't be the topic of conversation.
But the pain is so deep
of course.
Even though the media has moved on, I'm still here unraveling.
Absolutely.
And interestingly, nobody would have known this without the interview. So it has about. I'm giving you a platform to state your case, if you will, and people are going to talk about it. You get a chance to say it, but eventually people are going to move on. And
but they move on, but you didn't clear me. So I'm still here in the muck. So it's not like you cleared me and you've moved on. So I'm like, I could start healing and getting back to myself in pieces or whatever. You've actually, because I would love to see the response from, I don't know, is it the Queen or from her side? Like, how are you going to clean this up?
You're not going to get
but they can't. That's the thing.
You're not going to get that. Exactly. Because they have to maintain the narrative. They have to keep the narrative open. They have to keep the storyline going. So if I call you a bad person, I can't now relent and say, you know what, maybe you're not so bad. I have to keep it. Otherwise, I'm going to look silly. So there's not going to be any admission of fault or anything. Or
it sounds like a marriage.
If you don't admit to being a jerk, you can't change. You're going to end up changing that. So if your narrative has always been that they are bad, they do not deport themselves as royals, you can't now come and change the story because now you look bad, and that's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
You have to take some sort of accountability.
Accountability.
And have to support you, and I have to be, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Nah,
so about that life.
What they're going to do is double down on it. And she fought with staff. She was trying to get there. They were trying to give her food and she threw the fork at them. That's what you're going to start hearing now. She threw the martini at the person who was. She's going to get all kinds of blame about the light. The light don't work in the kitchen. She's going to be at fault for that. Everything the car goes down Thursday morning.
Grandson,
your fault.
So even though he chose his wife and his family, it's because of Meghan. Just like in Jamaica, you know, because of such and such a act, such and such way, where as opposed to just taking a kind of like, yo, things are bad, and he has to leave. Like he says, there's a point he said something like, you know, I asked for help as a boyfriend, as a husband, and as a father, and I've exhausted. Like, what else do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I've exhausted. I thought you were supposed to exhaust everything before you go for help. And I've at both levels of my life. When I was a fiance, I came for help. When I was a husband, I came for help. And my father came for. I don't have any other levels left to this. There's only 3 levels in the marriage.
Absolutely.
So I'll just die like my mom, and then you'll listen to me then.
Absolutely. And
but I was just saying we also have to admit that it takes a great deal of courage to do what they did, because a lot of people were just, you know,
suck it up.
At $30,000 a day, I'm cool. other people would have just sucked it up and just dealt with the situation the way it is. And it's a very, very strong individual who can walk away from all of that glitz and glamour and just be normal.
Yeah,
it's literally like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like somebody. Look at the perfect example. Oprah is like worth $600 billion, and somebody come and say, you know what, we're gonna start you a Burger King tomorrow at the counter. All your money gone. That is effectively what it is now, because he grew up a prince.
A real prince, not like a.
You know, you might find him in Starbucks in San Diego making as your barista now if you're not careful, because it's a regular life now for people like that.
Yeah, what regular.
Yeah, he might be serving you your Starbucks coffee now if you're not careful. So you have to be careful and admit that this is a seriously strong person.
Yeah.
I mean, the resolve is. I mean, I probably couldn't do it.
You could see the hurt in their eyes. Both their eyes. Their eyes just look so sad.
Yeah.
Both their eyes are she's always looked like she's crying at for a while. Like,
yeah.
What's the movie? Get Out? She's looking like she's in Get Out. Like her eyes are like, help me.
Yeah. And people don't do that because I think people are quick to say, oh, yeah, she's an actress. She can put it on. I've even heard people complain about, oh, do you see those pictures that they take? She's always looking at him like this. You know,
yeah, she's saying, help me.
When you love someone, how do you want her to glare at him? You know, if you're in love, how else would she look at him?
Everybody has an opinion about it.
The good thing is that
it's so
they have each other, and as sad as it may sound, they both lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically, I mean, she has her mom, and I'm sure her mom is there for him as well. And it doesn't substitute for your brother, and it doesn't substitute for your grandmother or your father. But, you know, and I'm sure she feels like, I would definitely feel some sort of pain knowing that I can't take that pain away from my husband. That part.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure I'm sure she probably feels if
a little bit of guilt.
Yeah, because in her mind she's probably thinking, if it was not for me, you would be.
But she has no place feeling that. She has no place feeling that because
I'm sure she shouldn't. But it wouldn't surprise me if she does. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's our nature, isn't it?
That's human nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think she should have done, they in plural, should have done the interview? Because a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, they're running away because they wanted privacy, and now for money they're going on Oprah and they're spilling it all and they're talking badly about the Queen. Do you think it was the right move, or they had the obligation to go and defend themselves? What's your stance on that?
I don't know that there is an obligation as it is their option.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have the option to speak your piece, and you can, and you get a platform to do so, by hell, go and do it, because nobody knows what you're going to except you. So if I tell you that the hot water in the bathroom is not very hot and you're going to argue with me about it, how do you know?
Absolutely.
You're speaking from their perspective, and it is their prerogative to do so. They might disagree as to how they went about it, and people are always going to have opinions and everything, but you can't you can't give an opinion on how they make their decisions. It's their option to do so. It's their prerogative to speak their truth. And like I said, people fool and just enough.
Okay, so this one, and you have to, I mean, not you have to, but it makes total sense. There's a difference between seeking privacy and intrusion. So
absolutely.
I want to be private. It don't mean that I want you to freaking scale my fence to come take pictures of me in my backyard.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a difference. So it's my backyard. So even though I want privacy, I'm not confined to my living room. If I want to go outside in my backyard, you should not feel the need now to scale the fence with your camera.
There's also that.
It's still my property. But my baby is mine. Like, why are you chasing me down with my baby?
A lot of people are losing the fact that Diana was hounded by the press.
That's what she did.
Hounded. She was the most photographed woman in the world at the time of her death. So she was always being pursued. And if she is thinking, yo, I don't really want that for my local youth, you know, and they decide to go this road, listen, more power to you, man. Do your thing.
No, well done to them. Absolutely. Ikuta says, they should definitely have done the interview. You know, and I think there's 50-50 on that. Some people are saying, yeah, they had no right to do it. And, you know, other people are saying, yeah, it's your truth. Why not tell your truth? And just because you are a public figure, it doesn't mean that you belong to the public. You have
exactly, and it comes back to the same, exactly. It comes back to the same idea that this deportment thing. So you should just suck it up and stay quiet. So people who say you shouldn't say anything are the kind of people who would think you should just shut up and stay quiet and just eat your soup.
Yes. Yes. And I mean, as parents as well, do we not have the obligation to educate our children by example? Do we not have that? Are we not trying to instill a healthy mental state? Are we not trying to instill happiness? Because for me, true wealth is happiness and health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So even for that, I think the message she's trying to spread to the younger generation, to women, to people all over the world is that your mental state matters. Your mental health is fundamental, and you need to look after that, because without that, what do you have really? What do we have if we're not looking out?
You need to be at your best mentally, and I mean, on a personal level, that's something I had to learn, because I thought everything else was fine, but everything is not fine. You literally have to get your head right for everything else to be fine, or else you're just going with the motions.
Absolutely,
like, you have to be coming from somewhere like strong, like, okay, this is where I am, and I'm making decisions based on this. Or else you're going to be making a bunch of decisions based on your emotion for that moment.
Absolutely.
If you're not grounded mentally, your decisions are going to be impacted, and it's going to probably mess up everything else that you have going for you.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny as well. I've been listening, and I've been listening to lots of people's opinions about how they have slated the Queen and the family, and they've gone against them. Do you think by telling your truth, you are essentially going against the institution, the monarchy? Do you think it's still in the back? Do you think it's stabbing them in the back? Do you think that? Okay,
so you're saying things about me that aren't true, and I choose to clear it up. How is that going against? I mean, it's going against the negative out there. So it's not an attack on you. It's whatever that was put out there. You back? No. So I was saying that the fact that I'm not defending, but the fact that I'm telling my truth, that's not an attack on you. It's an attack on what was said about me.
It's your defense.
It's my like, it's okay. It's my character. It's my image. Like, how is it not wrong that you were making it seem like I'm a bad person, but now that I want to clear it up, and I have all right to want to clear my name, because if somebody said, I mean, you're not going to run around and chase every bad thing that's said about you, but this is huge. This is a big deal.
It is.
This is not sweep under the rug. So something this big, I want to clear it up. And in history, my kids are going to grow up and they're going to hear things about me. I would hate for them to hear what you said.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So. Your turn.
You know,
listen, everyone is going to say that. And for the people who think that she shouldn't have said anything, they're the ones who were thinking like the royals will say, you should just suck it up. You're getting money. Be quiet. You know. So
yes.
There's always going to be that segment of the population, and then there's going to be the other one. But I think it was more cathartic for them.
Yes, absolutely.
To just get it out. And having done so, everybody can talk about whatever they want to talk about until the next news cycle when everybody forgets about it. So it's just part of the news of the day. It's part of the news of the day, but they are going to feel so much better for it. So
absolutely,
the therapeutic benefit is going to outlast the news cycle. Let's put it that way.
Okay. What does Faith say? Faith says the royals are complicit. Instead of supporting Meghan, they let the media tarnish her name, and I believe she has every right to discuss her experience, and she doesn't owe them any loyalty.
But you know, the funny thing is,
I like Faith.
Yeah, Faith, all right, man. But here's the thing. But people don't understand, there is no leakage of news. Nobody just decides, oh, we spoke to an anonymous source and things. People feed news to the media to get their own narrative split.
Absolutely.
Supported. So people are going to say the media. No, someone is going to control the firm. Somebody at the people control the narrative. If you watch the news, every news channel have the exact same news story because the news is controlled. So if they're going to say the media is starting to ignore that, where's media getting this information from suddenly? How does the media know that you don't like eggs at 4:00 in the afternoon? How do they know that? They're not there. So someone has to give them information and that supports their narrative, which is why they can't now come and say, yo, my bad. Because it's not going to support the narrative they've been pushing for so long.
What does Dimitri say?
Oh, absolutely, Dimitri. She's a black woman, so they're ostracized by the firm. I think so because she's not the first person to marry into the family. And I guarantee she won't be the last. She's not the first one to bear a child. I'm sure she just happened to be different.
Yeah. She has a little color.
She's different. One of these things, one of these wives is not like the other, wink wink. So they treat her differently just because of that.
She's different.
Because she's different. And like I said, the optics are bad, but the facts are there.
Yeah, but is there room? Because obviously when you swim against the current, you do that if you're a strong person. Is there room for a woman, a strong woman or a strong person within the firm? Because I consider her a strong woman, and perhaps there just isn't room for that.
Maybe your strength is based on what you can put up with, as opposed to on the outside world, it's what you can accomplish. The strongness over there, it has to do with, let's see how much shit I can put you through. Oh, you won. Absolutely. Let's go to the next level. Then you won. Oh, now you're weak because you didn't do this level.
Absolutely. I wish them all the luck in the world because in the world such as this, I believe that they absolutely need it. And
I'm glad they have each other. I'm glad it hasn't divided them. And I'm sure I'm sure there's days that maybe one of them might question themselves like, damn it, I should have married Emma, and she'd be like, I should have married Rashim.
No, but you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I've always maintained
hindsight.
I've always maintained this, people of a certain generation have experiences that taint their view of things. Yeah. So I've always said people in American Congress who are 79, 89, 93, 100 years old who have experienced certain things and like things a certain way with the blacks over there and the Chinese over there and the white people over in Whiteville, they're the ones who are going to make sure that I'm zoned in that area. So they keep things
pass laws, they'll come up with things that keeps me in my place.
Exactly. So if you understand how these things operate, this will never change until those old people at the top who control those narratives are gone. So she's in for a fight with them because they're not going to change because this is what I'm used to. This is how I like things done. Me no likes black people in my palace. So guess what?
Yeah, it's true.
That's really what happens.
Unless you're taking out the trash or serving me food, I don't want to see you.
I mean, Camilla Boggs is the most famous side chick ever. And she have a room in the palace with waiter and butler service and private chauffeur and all them thing there. And this woman married to the prince. And
she didn't have an affair with the prince. It's her man.
Exactly. And it's not like he's an adopted prince from some orphanage in Sussex. The man born from the... And they have him like your virgin, your wife too.
They're treating Harry like a black man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Harry is black by association.
Yes, it's true. No, you pick the black. No, sir. Black name. No.
Harry is treated like a black man because he's with a black woman.
That's what it is.
Doesn't matter. We'll take him over. We love you, Harry. It's fine. It's fine.
I love him so much. I named my cat after it. Well, when you saw him on Instagram, Harry.
Well,
definitely.
It was. What did she say?
Oh, it was sad to hear they didn't prepare for any of the proper greetings of the Queen and other religious and traditions that are a major part of the palace. She had to learn quickly, I guess.
I guess I didn't expect her to stick around.
No, maybe that, but like I said, she was different, so they didn't expect her to fall into place. So they're not going to waste time on it. It's kind of like you're not going to teach someone who can't run how to do a broad jump, that kind of thing. So they just perceived her as being at a disadvantage straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they didn't prepare. They basically set up for failure, and then when she did excel, it's like, oh, okay, so even though you won, you're not gonna have a title, no security, and your baby. Let's hope he's not that dark, but he's not going to have a title anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You and your black baby can go live in America.
There's these allegations as well about her bullying.
It is. Essentially, it's a big bullying fest going on.
It's a smear campaign, because you didn't hear about that 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When it's...
That's what I'm saying. If you fight your butler 2019, why am I hearing this in 2021? It's kind of like the woman on the subway talking about, oh, he touched my butt on the train 1944. And suddenly you're suing the man for some nonsense. I mean,
I just remember
the day after, it never fresh in your memory. So it's just ridiculous. And like I said, there is no leakage of information. Someone has to feed this story to the press for them to have something to talk about, because no good news is reported. Nobody's going to talk about the fact that, I mean, Obama was going on his helicopter one morning, and he forgot to salute the soldier, and him come back out and give the soldier a little dap and on. Nobody not talk about it. Nobody speaks about it, because that's nice. It's not bad. But what if you do something terrible? Throw a pen at a cat, somebody just take a picture and suddenly you're a villain of the week.
No, it's true.
He's an animal lover.
Yeah, he hates animals and he wears fur and he eats cows right off the pasture. It's just ridiculous. People just start to get more and more emboldened with their salacious nonsense. But then again, the internet gives you such anonymity. People feel emboldened to say whatever the hell they want.
Absolutely.
And that's where it all comes from. Everybody with a cell phone and a video camera becomes a de facto journalist now. So I say this because I know them. You Google them before the interview.
Yes, and everybody is an expert in everything, and everybody's voice is important. And sometimes, you have to stop and think, is this all there is in life? Is this what we've been reduced to? We spend our whole lives just,
The one good thing is that black people trending again now.
Black people are back.
We're kind of back in trend. We're trending now. So, I mean, I could just ride the wave now. I mean, a few years ago, this would never been an issue. It was another black girl trying to give problems at the Royal Palace and stuff like that. But because black people are trending again, we find that this is going to get a little bit more traction than before. And I mean, it's a good thing. It's also a bad thing.
It is.
Because when we're not trending anymore, all the nonsense that we used to deal with is just come right back. And
the companies are coming up with programs for minorities, diversity programs. Like black people, they've existed for quite some time. It's not like breaking news. Like we have an N-word at work. Let's try to accommodate them now. Like we've been around.
Listen,
I didn't know about.
I experienced racism while I was in Spain. I was in Barcelona. I experienced racism.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
This is touch. I mean, she just touched my hair, and can I touch on this was at the train station when I was close to my hotel.
Yeah, on wig.
And then she just came up to me and she's like, "Would you touch a white woman here like that? Like
they never see you
like
before.
an exotic, like an exotic freak. I'm a regular black person."
Yeah.
Well,
Italy, this guy called me Coca-Cola. I'm like, how? Why? Because I'm dark? And is that a compliment?
Yeah.
He's like, ooh, sexy Coca-Cola. Okay, can I call you spaghetti? Can I call you lasagna? Like, come on.
There's a basketball player once, he was sitting in first class coming from somewhere, and he was sitting in first class with another companion. And this white lady comes on the plane. She's walking through first class with this hysterical little baby, and he's there just watching them pass through. And she comes up to him, while this baby, and she comes to him and she says, "It's okay. She's never seen one before."
You're joking.
No, The child has never seen a black person before, so she comes. It's okay, and they don't think that's a racist thing to say because I'm not racist. I like black people.
My nanny is black.
Yeah.
You know what I find about, and I'm not. This is not generalizing. Some of the white people who have black nannies. How is it that you don't trust me and you don't consider me equal, but you allow me to raise your child? Aren't you afraid I might stroke that motherfucker? I'm sorry. Like, how do you entrust me with your most valuable possession, your child?
Yeah.
But you don't consider me an equal.
Because it comes down to privilege.
Because you don't think one day I might just, lose it and choke it?
It's privilege. It's privilege. It's privilege. In 1946, this guy, Isaac Woodard, fresh out the army, was honorably discharged from the United States military after World War II. He's going home on a bus. And he's on the bus, and the bus gets to a rest stop, and he asks the bus driver, "Yo, can I use the bathroom?" The bus driver didn't like the fact that he asked him to use the bathroom, so they had a little back and forth. Guy comes back on the train to get to the next bus stop. The bus driver calls the police. Police pulls this man off the bus, takes him to an alley, and beat the living piss out of him. The guy was blinded permanently as a result of it. This is straight out of the military, and all of a sudden the NWC, civil rights. Trending then, no longer. Now we have somebody kneeling on the neck of a guy on the sidewalk, and suddenly we're trending again, which is why I'm saying it's good that there's this attention now, because we're trending.
One of us always needs to die to be trending.
Yeah.
We can't just trend just to be naturally trending. Like, okay, I was watching Amends. I started watching yesterday on Netflix. It's a Will Smith about the, slavery and stuff like that. And my understanding from the little parts I got is what they were saying is basically, even though they freed slave, you weren't really meant to be recognized as equal.
Yeah.
Like, we freed you. What else do you want?
But it comes back to the whole idea of privilege, and that's what it all comes down to. Privilege. You can't do anything to me because I am protected. That's why when they tried to see a policeman for beating this guy, and he admitted in court, I beat him with my billy club in his eye, I knock him 17 times, gouge out him eye socket, beat. The man is blind for life. Died in 92, and they beat the man senseless because he asked to use the bathroom on the bus. And the bus admitted to beating him, and they found him not guilty. So if I can do something like this,
get away with it,
there is nothing you can do. And it comes down to privilege. Is why Piers Morgan says, she needs to shut up because he's never had to deal with anything.
Absolutely.
It comes back to privilege. So people from a place of privilege can't speak to what people who have not been privileged are experiencing. Absolutely. And it's really, really frustrating to have these conversations in this time. But again, it's a cycle. Black people trending now. So it's topical. A few years when we're not anymore and they start shooting us in the street again. Hopefully we're not there again.
And I think that's the issue, that it's always that we're having to defend ourselves. We're always having to explain that it exists. We always have to defend and pinpoint and say, here it is, it's happened here. And this is how, and it's defending and having to, feeling that you're being judged because after explaining what's happened, and you know what it is, if you've lived it, you know what it is. Exactly. But it's then having to then prove.
But you know what's interesting, and if you were to really be introspective about it, if Meghan Markle were white, would we have this conversation now?
No, because Kate didn't go through it, so of course not.
But that's what I'm saying. So the fact that she's going through it, people are going to say, "Oh, it's your fault," as opposed to the fact that
that's what a lot of people are saying. Oh yeah, what she called Camilla Tomini. She said, "Oh yes, but remember when Kate came, she did get it." Yes, I remember she got things said about her family, but it was
her baby still came up with a title. It's Princess Charlotte, and whatever is it, Henry, the little boy?
Yo, Princess Charlotte had coins made for her, bruh.
Archie just have a regular name, Archie.
No, I remember I was in London. Someone asked me to get a souvenir coin of baby Charlotte.
Yeah.
As a souvenir. I was like, why?
Charlotte is
cute.
She's cute.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's good.
unfortunately, the struggle continues, because until we get to the point where we can actually stop defending that we're being attacked, or we are living what we're living. It's just, because people are failing to understand it, and they're denying that it's existing. You're being told, no, that's not racism. No, that's not what it is. Oh, it's just attention seeking. It's just the race card. Mm-hmm. Here we go again. And I mean, situations have happened to me where I've kept mum. I haven't said anything because I didn't really want to feel as though I was being a victim. Because, I feel as though, look, I mean, I grew up in Wiltshire as a predominantly white,
I live in a white neighborhood. I'm one of 15, 10, maybe 20. Let's say 20.
Really?
But you learn, don't you? You learn to not complain when things happen to you. You learn to not complain because you don't want to seem as though, okay,
you don't want to be that girl.
Yeah, so I get stuff like, occasionally I get stuff like, if I, oh, you live around here? Or, oh, where do you work? As opposed to, why do I have to work here? Why can't I just live here?
No, one of the common surprise.
When what's his name? George Floyd died. I've never had so many white people say hello to me, and I'm like, so we need to start killing people on the streets for you guys. Hey, good morning. I mean, they weren't unfriendly before. They just didn't speak. No, they feel. I had somebody. I was walking one evening because again, it's safe. I live in a white neighborhood. I was walking 10 o'clock at night. This guy rolled on his. Hey, how are you? Okay, sir, you're creeping me out. Enough of the highs and lows. Like that whole time, and when I remember one day I was even walking, and I don't even know whether there were tears in my eye because it was just so heavy. It was like the same week that he died, that he was murdered. Yeah, and it was so heavy, and I'm walking like locally, and they're like, "Hey, how are you?"
You don't want to know.
Do you really want to know how I'm doing, or are you just saying it to check it up? I said hi to a black girl today. I feel so much better with myself. I mean, because you do it for you. And also in the neighborhood, they have a Black Lives Matter mural. So they made this huge thing about it. They're putting up Black Lives Matter, and it shows that this little town of Larchmont, I mean, we love you and we respect you. We stand with you.
No,
let me finish telling our story now, and your story.
Sorry.
Go on.
Sorry. So in every neighborhood, like I said, it's a rich neighborhood. It's a predominantly white neighborhood. But there's always a little section where the not so rich, not so well-to-do are. So the ghetto here is like less than a square mile.
Okay.
Right? So guess where they put the mural? There. So all the blacks, the 10 white crackheads, maybe, and they're not crackheads, I'm just saying that, and predominantly Hispanic.
Yeah.
It's outside their building. They don't need to remind you that Black Lives Matter. Put it over in your rich neighborhood. So when you come outside and then you see that. I don't need to tell it. You don't need to remind me that my lives matter. That's what I'm screaming to you, that my lives matter.
Yeah.
I don't need to come out of my house and look down and say, wow, these are really nice paint colors. I really matter. I know that.
My story.
Your story now?
My story now. I was at work one night and I have this Black Lives Matter button, because like I said, when we were trending, they were giving them all out. So I had a Black Lives Matter. Yeah, man, we're trending big. And I have this Black Lives Matter thing pinned on my uniform and my scrubs. So I went into a room with this lady and she sees my Black Lives Matter pin and she goes, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. So right away, me put on my cane. I just park the machine and I say, really no? I say, yes, all lives matter. Someone said, why you want to say something like that? Because it's true. Black lives, all lives matter with the same nonsense. I'm saying, I'm going to ask you a question. That's your mother, right? Yes, that's my mother. So suppose your mother is at the beach and she's drowning and you come, oh, so lifeguard, help me, lifeguard, help me. And the lifeguard look out upon you and say, all swimmers matter.
We didn't get to your mom yet.
Because I'm explaining to her, just because we say Black Lives Matter doesn't mean yours doesn't matter. It's because I'm the one under pressure right now.
Yes.
So absolutely. I need help. So
and I need you to come to my
exactly. So I need the help right now because my life is in danger. Not that yours isn't, but right now mine kind of situation. So I said to her, so if your mother is out there drowning and you go, lifeguard, help me, and the lifeguard looks at you and says, No swimmers matter and keep it moving. Oh, you are gonna survive that blows and skirt. I said, oh, you know, I never looked at it that way before because people don't think.
No, you get,
White
but
people
it's
on a whole, some white people, let me stop saying white people.
It's a place of privilege.
A lot of white people are uncomfortable to talk about race. It doesn't
Yeah.
affect them, and they don't want to talk about it because if they talk about it, they have to look within themselves.
yes. People don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to check myself. I don't know. I don't want to look within myself. I don't want to learn anything new. I'm just gonna say, you know, this is black girl at work. I'm nice to her. I can't be racist.
Yeah. I got a friend.
My nanny's black. I can't be racist.
Yeah.
No, their biggest story is that, oh, slavery was 400 years. I have nothing to do with that. I didn't do anything to you personally. That's always their story.
It's a pain that never left. And though I'm not American per se, I was born here.
Yeah.
The knowledge of what happened it's not away. And because it's not being acknowledged, I now take that on. And because, again, I live in a white neighborhood, so I don't tell the girl, she's young. I mean, I kind of prep her, but not really. But my two black sons, Christian started to drive now. It scares the shit out of me because I'm like, when he leaves here, what if he gets pulled over and he doesn't get time to explain that I really live here? So maybe if he says that he lives here, they won't antagonize him. I'm one of you guys. But then now he has to prove himself.
Funny, I grew up in Jamaica. So when I came to America, I had to learn very, very quickly how to conduct myself, if you will.
White people don't learn to conduct themselves, they just move along.
Privilege, again. But I didn't really, you don't experience racism in Jamaica. And certainly, what you encounter there is colorism. You too dark for me, so you can't work at NCB.
Black and ugly, like. I used to get told that all my life.
Oh my gosh.
She too dark. She can't work at NCB as a cashier. That's definitely out
Remember
of the question.
Air Jamaica? Growing up, they were all light-skinned, Coolidge, or Asian Jamaicans.
Yes.
None of them look like me, and you're always a size 2, so me too fat.
Yes, it's true though. Yeah, when you look at not just Jamaica, but all over the Caribbean, you'll see. I don't know if you've been to Caribbean, other Caribbean countries, but you will see. You know, the color
Indians, Asians, Caribbean people, and you're like, I'm a size 4. They're like,
So you have to have a certain shade to be successful. You have to
body type.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit cute.
yeah. So having you see that and you take it as a noun. That's why people used to have browning and darking and nonsense, because there was a place for that.
Yeah.
There was actually a place for that, and it was kind of fun at the time. Like, yeah, man, look at browning, but you could not be a browning if you want to work in some place of high regard. So when I was living there, you never encounter nobody. Hey, nigga, or go in your place, boy, that kind of thing. You know, police used to do it, but there was just to keep you in your corner. But coming here and
scared straight.
No, when you come here and you have to understand that it's a white man's country with white people rules that are geared to maintain white people's status quo. And you are now just, just a speck to them, I got a car once, very nice car. I drive on the Hutch Parkway. And a policeman pulled me over. I wasn't speeding. And then pulled me over and he was walking up. And all the man I walk up, he might look on the car, come all the way up to the driver's side like me have something hanging off the car. So he pull up and him come and he never write me a ticket. He just want to make sure I'm the owner of the car. And that happens very, very often. Very, very often. So having that kind of experience and then you see a man look at you and say, yo, you're not supposed to in this neighborhood. When I look for a house, them tell you can't go over there because too much white people over there. So you have to have someone pose as a white person to get into that neighborhood kind of nonsense. It happens. It is very, very, it's a commonplace thing. It is a regular thing almost. So
today.
Exactly. So having to deal with that, it's a culture shock to real,
And the stores are not isolated. It's too it's very often. I don't know if you heard, remember the story? I don't know if you heard it either. The story, the appraisal is a black family who got their home appraised, and it came in lower, like the value of their home, when they had their white friend agreed to pose as them and to get rid of all the black photos, put up our white pictures. It was almost it went up almost $500,000-$600,000.
Really?
Yes,
real stuff. So the black family had the house appraised. $500,000 less than what they asked than market.
So when they came and saw the white family and the white pictures,
so this is a white family. This house is worth more.
Oh, the value went up.
$500,000, I think it was.
And of course, that goes with salary too. I'm sure it's in your country as well, where even though I'm a manager, I'm sure a white manager doesn't probably make way more than I do. Not probably, makes more than I do.
Yeah.
One of the common things when people look at you and they see you where, it's like, you live here?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
That's
my God, did I not tell you that when you came to my house?
Yeah, that's it. They look at you. You live, and it's not like, it's not a question like, you live here? Or like, I'm trying to find out if you are lost. It's like, you live here, like you're not supposed to. Yo, I get that. You live here, kind of thing.
In Larchmont, because again, Larchmont is an affluent community.
So it's like,
I am one of 15. So you live here?
You live here. You're
you mean you're cleaning someone's house?
Yeah.
You're a living cleaner.
No, I live here, sir.
And that's all it is. So their racism isn't overt anymore. They're not walking around shouting nigger from the rooftops. But Absolutely. They're all about my accountant. My best friend is an accountant, and he pointed out something to me that we have, I think it's 7 digits or 9. 7 or 8 digits of social security number, but there's a group of 2 in the middle. And he told me if those 2 numbers are even, you're a minority. So before you even walk into the bank, people know that you're a minority and you're discredited from getting anything from the bank. I swear. And I started, think about it. Your social security, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those 4 or 5 numbers. Those
the middle number. 2.
The group of numbers, if it's an even number like 29, no, like 28 or 56 or 48, yeah. So, this is not a white person, so you're automatically at a disadvantage.
You gotta name your kids.
So you can't name your child Rayshawn anymore.
Oh my God! You know, if you watch the last live I had with my brother on, you know, he was talking about the fact that whenever he goes somewhere and he meets someone, and he takes a junior manager or whatever with him, the person always goes to greet the white person because they never think that he's the person they spoke to on the phone.
I've had that at work.
Absolutely.
One of my remember my Asian guy working, and a person came in the office. I want to speak to David, the Chino, and he's like, I'm not the manager. They just assume that he was the manager. And he's like, you know, I'm not the manager.
But that's the thing. Yeah.
And even with my kids, you know, we love to travel. My kids will say they went there. They're like, you went to Morocco? You went to Spain?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's how I was thinking.
You went to Colombia? Like, where did you live for summer, Carly? I went to Colombia.
Yeah, yes, because we're not in the positions we're supposed to be. We're supposed to. We're moving out of our lanes now. You know, you're not being obedient. You're moving out, and that's not acceptable. You know,
you're actually non-black, and I don't like that.
That's the thing, and we also have to understand older white people have this perception that we are supposed to stay in this little
lane.
Yeah, lane. Won't call any names or disclose any facts, but quite recently someone was in a meeting and someone mentioned that this is the rate I'm getting for this, and the person looked at me like, you are getting that rate. That was the kind of reaction like, dude, why not? You know, so the expectation is that you stay in your lane and I will stay here and watch you over there in your lane. I'll come over here and be nice to you and take pieces of your culture back to my safe white person.
But we're not racist.
No, of course not, because I speak to you.
Yeah, and I listen to Jay-Z.
No.
One of my son's best friends is black.
No.
Actually, my son's coach is black, and Robert is a great coach.
No, it's always interesting to hear the 6 degrees of separation from a white person to a black person. My son's friend's neighbor works at this firm where his doctor son who went to school with a black person. That's kind of how it is. Yeah, it's a very fortuitous connection, but that is how they think. So because they know a black person, I'm not racist.
You know, and it's,
I know a cat. I'm not a cat.
No, and it's just, you know, sitting down with someone and having these conversations and saying, you know, this is the reality. These things, and we might sit here and we might laugh about them, but it's our day to day. These things happen, and if it doesn't happen to you, you don't know what it feels like. So you have absolutely no legs to stand on. You have no argument to ever come to any minority and say, it's not that, or we're not racist here, we're not biased here, because you're not living it.
And that is absolutely true.
The argument that we all have the same opportunity, I think, is one of the biggest misconceptions. Like, well, they could go to schools too. And I'm like, no, we can't. we want to. It's not all of us aspires to be like, as a Black woman, there are Black people who don't want to do shit with their life, but that's not all of us.
Absolutely not.
If that was all of us, I wouldn't be where I am today and trying to get to another place where I am today, because we're not lazy. No, you have laziness. Lazy is not a cultural thing. It's a people thing.
It is.
A thief is not a cultural thing. It's a people thing. A rapist is not a cultural thing. It's a people thing. It's a person thing.
One of the most ridiculous blows and skirt ridiculous arguments from white people.
Blows and skirt.
Yeah, man. No, it's one of the wickedest right. No, for real. When people say Black people always kill Black people.
Black and black, yeah.
Yeah, them always come with this black and black foolishness. Like, white people don't kill white people in white neighborhoods. It's called crimes of proximity. So if I live next door to a Black person and where I'm at,
kill him.
I will kill him. So if a white guy have beef with him, look at this. There's a few weeks ago, these people in Pennsylvania, in Scranton, Pennsylvania, they argue about snow removal. The man go in them house, get an AK and shoot the two neighbors. Shoot them in the middle of the street.
And they're white.
They were white.
Because they live in a white neighborhood. So you live in a white neighborhood, you're going to kill your white. If you're going to kill your neighbor who is white.
Yeah, but they're always going to say, there's so much black on black crime. They're not unified. They're not united. So there's Black people killing Black people. But yeah, white people.
But if I live in the projects and I'm a murderer, well, I'm going to kill somebody in the vicinity. Because I'm a thief and I'm a murderer and I'm a rapist.
So it's crimes of proximity, and they always use that to say that Black people are not helping themselves because we kill each other, that kind of nonsense. And it's such a ridiculous argument, and no one wants to take them on because, yeah, it's true. But dude, read.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do, just read.
And, until we start talking about these things and enlightening the public, gosh, we have to say that. Mm-hmm, but it's because lots of times you're talking to someone and you'll put a valid point across and they'll say, I've never considered that before.
No,
because those conversations need to take place, and until that happens, we'll continue to live with these misconceptions of each other, and there's no progress. There is no progress.
That is the thing. And people don't speak with the people who are affected by the situation. They always have conversations amongst themselves. So white people can't speak about Black people's problems if they don't speak to Black people about those problems. And everyone has their own conversation. Like, I can't speak to white people's situation because I don't have those conversations with them. I've had it with a few. And, it's not something that people readily sit down for.
There you go.
They're not, it's very uncomfortable for white people to speak about race. Once you start talking about race, it's not cute to go to the bathroom kind of thing.
It's true. It's so many times.
Yeah.
So many times that's happened to me. And I've just felt like, okay, well, I'm going to shut up now because obviously what I've got to say is not important and you're dismissing what I'm saying. And many times I've felt in that situation and I've kept quiet. I've kept quiet because I've not felt supported. And consequently, I've reached the conclusion that, well, you're not my friends, because if you're my friend, and I can't tell you that I'm hurting, or I can't tell you that this affects me, we're not friends. So don't go quote and say you have a Black friend in Kerry, because that's not true.
Friend.
What's always interesting is the way they come in very strong with their facts. I was like, yeah, and then you give them some real facts, and it's like, all right, I should not have done this, and then that's when it gets uncomfortable because they come in very gung-ho with, yo, Black people kill Black people. And it's like, dude,
I sent you the crime rates and I googled this. Like I said, I live in a Black neighborhood. I'm a murderer. I'm murdering the people in my Black neighborhood.
So they always use.
I mean, and clearly, I'm not the best example of a Black person if I'm a murderer or a rapist, so you can't use that person to judge all Black people.
Absolutely not.
But that's what they get.
I shared
on
with
the
him.
news.
I don't know if you can pick it up. What you said about your, like, when they introduce you, your people, like, you know, this is the Professor Carrie, as opposed to, I think I told you that, as opposed to, like, it's Carrie first, and then what I do second.
No, you have to understand something about people. People like to know what you do to determine how much respect to give to you. That's all that is. So if you are,
when you told me that, I was like, wow, that was pretty heavy.
No, I think it was, I can't remember where, but I was at a meeting or a function or something, and we were sitting around a table, and I was like, so one of them looks over like, so what do you do? And I looked at the dude and I said, as little as possible for as much as I can. And they were dead quiet for a second. I was there, stone face. They didn't ask me again, though.
Yeah.
They didn't ask.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to determine how much respect should I give this black person now. Like, what do you do?
He's a doctor. Oh, yeah, like somebody we could invite over for a barbecue to make potato salad.
Yeah.
Pass the test.
I just look at him as little as possible for as much as I can.
Like, yeah. I shouldn't have to tell you what I do for you to determine the level of respect you have for me.
If you notice, whenever someone introduces someone to someone else, it's always the very first question after them. Oh, hi, Raquel, how are you? This is my friend Paul. Hey, Paul. So what do you do?
He's the CEO.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they hit it off. I had an ex-boyfriend that clearly he had other issues. Like, he used to introduce me by my, this is my girlfriend. She's a manager. No, that's not a regular thing. This is Raquel.
Yes. It's not my friend.
You know, like, the person introducing me to, like, I'm not giving you you're not gonna get discounts because I don't sell anything. And so it's like yeah, it's,
you know. But I mean,
just to make them, in that case, I thought it was just to make himself look good amongst his peers.
Yes, because they have to justify your blackness, you know, because they're level to this blackness. And it is, we're talking about this the other day, actually, that I'm actually privileged in Spain as a black person, because there are different types of blacks, you know. And if you speak English and if you are from a certain place and you're educated, you're not so black anymore. You go up on the black ladder.
You made it.
Obviously, I am not as black as the African black who doesn't speak Spanish or who doesn't speak English, because all of a sudden, I'm a little less black now. People don't see that. I know it's true because I live it.
Absolutely.
So you're less black because, one, you're an educator with a real profession, and you live in the neighborhood that you live in. So she's a different black.
She's a good black.
She's a good black.
She's a good black. You can talk this one.
This is a good black. Honey, get yourself this black.
She's all right. This one is all right. It's I don't know.
This black is cultured. This black speaks a few languages.
She have manners.
We'll accept this one.
She have manners.
This black is resourceful.
You know, and my daughter gets really annoyed because, you know, she always gets told, yes, but you're not as black as your mother. You're not black, are you? And because Amelia is like, yeah, I'm black.
Amelia is a Christian complexion.
Conversation with people, you know, and it's like, I have to then justify when you're talking in a negative way about Africans, for example, because you think, Amelia's words to me, you know, I think she was on actually, she's gone now, I think. Amelia, if you're there, say something, put something in. You know, and she's constantly saying that, you know, I have to justify because people will say things that are offensive, but they'll say to her, yes, but you're not really black, are you? And she's like, well, yes, I am actually. You know, what does it mean? Have you not seen my mom? You know my mother. Yes, but you're not really as black as your mom. Yes, but I'm the same as my mom. And she will come back like that, you know, because what else is she? You know, and it's that level of acceptance. I'll accept you under these circumstances, and as you said before, it's how much respect you get. You know, eyes off.
Of course. And it's unfortunate they also have the judgment based on how you speak. You can't really get around that. I have two daughters.
If I get around, I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Respect is zero.
Yeah.
But if I put on my white voice, you're black.
Yeah, until they see you and I say, you're Raquel. It's always that.
I've had that. I met an attorney once, and we spoke over the phone. I met him at court, and it just looked like it was him because he was standing there. So I went over to him, like, are you? He was like, Raquel? I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, sorry, black. I don't know even where it came from. It just came out. I just said it because he was like, you Raquel? He's like, you don't sound like Raquel. You didn't sound the way you look. I was like,
yeah,
sorry, I'm black today. I forgot to change.
You know, when
I had on the wrong face. Sorry. And I walked away laughing. I wasn't even offended because it's like,
it happens so much.
Raquel? Because he wasn't even sure if he should like hand me over the file or say, you Raquel?
Yeah.
You don't sound like
no, you're supposed to sound like yeah.
There is that.
I'm gonna come through, come pick it up, some shit.
There is this notion that which I don't understand because your first language is English. Why then are we not expected to speak it well?
We speak to Ebonics because they have the producers to speak in broken English and Ebonics, and
listen,
we think that's a cultural thing. It's not a language.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Listen, I have two daughters, and I tell both of them, so listen, you gotta speak proper English or patois. But you're not coming in there with y'all be catching me over where you at. Me know why you're them foolishness because you don't hear me speaking that way. Nobody that you know speaks that way. So you're not going to go out there and come, y'all be catch. No, I know why you're that. Better you tell me some patois or you speak proper English. But that separates you from everyone else because people assume you have no sense because of the way you speak. I mean, no, you have sense.
Yeah, and you're being judged. So why then play into that role that's been assigned for you? You know, you're trying to break that perception, that notion, that stereotype, that society is that you've been given. Break away from that. You know, I think it's trying to instill that in our kids that you are not what society expects you to be. You can be whatever you want to be, and that I feel as though needs to be the message for our children tomorrow and for future generations. We need to be instilling these things, and I feel so it's our duty to do so. And so these conversations are also relevant, and more of them need to be had.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we are in 2021, and I feel as though we have not moved on from the days when my granddad moved. My grandparents came to England in the 1950s, and I feel as though so many things. You know, he would sit and he would tell us certain experiences that they went through, and I just feel as though we haven't advanced much. You know, from then. I mean, there was a period when I was growing up. I never felt a lot of the hostility that I'm seeing today. But I also feel as a child, you don't see it because you're not looking for it. You're going about your business. You're rambo pandong. You're not business really. You're not really, and you're treated differently when you're a child. Now
you're protected to some degree.
Yes, you're protected as a child. And when you go out into the real world, and you have to compete for jobs, then you see what the reality is. You see what's expected. And it is sad, but it's our reality. So to anyone who's going to jump on and say, yes, we are going about the race and that, would not need to be having these conversations if we weren't living these inequalities. And I don't know in how many language I need to say it in, or we need to say it in, and how many to say it.
Here's one of the funniest things. My daughter, when she was in high school, she had some friends sleep over.
Uh-huh.
No, My daughters would always say, "Oh, I don't have no Air Jordan. I know, why my friends tease me I don't wear Jordan and Nikes and all them stuff." I'm gonna say, "Yeah, you can't talk about that because you drive to school and you pass all of them Nike wearers at the bus stop."
Mm.
So when her friends came to visit her, we'd just gotten into her house and she had her own room, put a TV on the wall, put a like a computer in the room so she can have it. And her friends came and visited and then went back to school and said she rich. Ostracized the little girl. Because they don't know anything better. You understand? I took my family there, went to Europe. And she's in a college class and they're talking about the Colosseum. And we went there and she was talking about it. And they were looking at this person looking at her like, you went to Rome. And it's the same idea that you're not supposed to do these things. This is outside of your lane kind of thing. And it's just ridiculous that every so often it becomes a topic of conversation that this is not your thing, you know. Your thing is shocking and jiving, run and dance and sing and entertain me. Don't be intellectual. Just entertain me. That's really what it is. So we're expected to be shock and jiving, dance, entertainers. That's our role. Entertainment.
Don't forget that. Yes,
exactly.
You're supposed to be, you know, if you're professional, perhaps you can be a carer and look after the elderly or look after babies because that's necessary as well. So, but that's your stations. Don't forget your station. And if you do, you know,
they will remind you. Believe me, they are quick to remind you.
Absolutely. I don't want to say what happened to me just like last week at work because obviously I still work there and I just don't. But if I said it, you'd just be so shocked. So shocked.
I probably wouldn't be. I'll just say that. I probably would not be because not many things surprise me anymore.
You know, but it's
most things don't surprise me anymore.
Unfortunately, it's our reality, guys. And I hopefully, as with Harry and Meghan, we wish them all the luck in the world.
All the luck. Like I said, they're very strong for having done what they did.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they will be stronger for it.
Yes. And positive vibes, positive thoughts, their ways and prayers, and because they'll need it.
Absolutely.
And just wishing them well in everything that they do. And hopefully in the future, we will learn to be more open to the conversations about things that are issues that are affecting us as a people.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Everyday Dianda, I was going to say, unfortunately, it wouldn't be shocking. Yeah.
Exactly. See, nothing is shocking anymore. If you can see someone on the side of the street dying, nothing is shocking. Nothing. We've become desensitized to stuff now.
It's true, and
we've absolutely become desensitized. But I'm hoping that this is also a trend that goes away, and we become more civilized. That's all we can hope for. Just hope and pray that we become more civilized as the years go on. It's 2021. We shouldn't be having these conversations anymore.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we're going to say goodbye on
My girl, come back here.
We're going to say goodbye on a hopeful note. Oh. Thank you guys for being here with us. Dimitri, Faith, Everyday Dianda, Emmy. Thank you so much. If I missed somebody else who was on the live, thank you for being here with us, for participating. Let's keep having these open conversations, and hopefully tomorrow will be better. You know,
I hope my kids don't have to have this conversation 20, 30 years from now. Like I came to America at 12 and I've been hearing this conversation. I'll be 42 this year, and I'd like for us to start talking about something else.
Well, let's part on this note. We only have today, so we take today to make the change that you want to see today. Today.
I love that.
That's it, because you don't know what's happening tomorrow. But today, I can say, yo, everything all right?
Yes, and so on a positive note, we're going to wish the Duke and the Duchess a very promising future. and everything go their way. And good luck. Good luck indeed. And with that,
if you see, what's my guy I'm in love with? If you see David Guetta, tell him I said, hey, love him.
David Guetta.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I have the biggest crush on him.
These crazy people.
You know,
take care, everyone. For you too. Yeah. So with that, we will say goodbye to Faith and everybody else.
Bye,
Faith. Big up yourself, Faith.
So your comment. Okay. Hasta pronto.